I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new.
We have made it to Albuquerque. Yes. One thing I would say, I love the desert. Cactus. This is where Breaking Bad was filmed and set. So let's see what she's about.
Sam is finally living his dream, his American dream.
Have you heard of, like Live, Laugh, Love candles? They've got a word for it that describes it here. Basically, all of that stuff goes into that category, like cats on tea towels and that kind of thing.
Lame.
This, can't remember what that word is, but this is either cool or goes into that bucket.
It is neither cool nor goes into the bucket.
If you want to see the most ridiculous thing, though, actually, that I actually think is kind of ridiculous, my office, this looks like the backroom casting couch.
Yeah, that looks like the office I worked in for the NHS in Port Talbot.
Oh, that must be what is the average life expectancy there? About 8.
Yeah, I think you'd be lucky to make it to 8 though. Right, guys, welcome back. We've taken a bit of a hiatus.
Seriously, we don't really have an excuse other than that editing these things actually takes slightly longer, and Claire was busy in a minimum wage job, and and I was putting this couch in here. No, we literally don't have an excuse, to be honest.
No, I was living my chalet girl life.
Your house does look quite chalet-like, though.
I know. Someone
With
the
the
other day
wood.
said, "Oh, how can I put your virtual background on behind?" And I was like, "This isn't a virtual background."
But they asked for it.
Yeah, he's like, "This is my house," and
They need to get their fucking head checked, because don't get me wrong, it looks like a nice house, but of all the virtual backgrounds, there is nothing outstanding about that one. It is good to be back. The good news is, since we last spoke, we have been to a number of US states. We're now well on our way to 50. I don't know how I'm going to get to Alaska, to be honest. It seems prohibitively expensive. And I'm not that into fish or bears, so I can't see myself going, to be honest.
Okay, yeah. So there's 2 things to note here. So firstly, it is good to be back on the podcast. We are going to be doing New Mexico today, and I'll ask Sam all about why in a minute. And then the second thing is that when Sam says we've done loads of states, he means he's traveled on his own without me to loads of states, and he's now living in America. So we have actually come quite a long way since the last podcast. We weren't just 2 saddos in our parents' house talking about America. One of us now is, and the other one is living his American dream. And this has all been coming since we were 21 and went road tripping down all the legal weed states in America. And now here he is. And how does it feel?
Actually worse, to be honest. Now I'm here. I think it really solidifies the grass being greener on the other side. I want to go home.
And that's it. Thanks for joining, everyone.
We're not talking about America anymore. I don't find it fun.
Let's move on to the different counties of England.
Oh, God. See, this is the thing where it's literally the grass is always greener on the other side, because I'm not being funny. I always love it in, like, I don't know, insert random state. And then I'm like, every single state I can think of is better than Worcestershire.
I'm in Herefordshire, if that's a dig, by the way.
Is that in the same county? I don't even know.
No, I didn't know if you're trying to insult me, I'm not in Worcestershire. But if you weren't trying to insult me, it is very close to Worcestershire.
Well, no, it wasn't an attempted insult. I deliberately avoided Herefordshire because I thought, plus your background looks nice. Like, I can see value in the English countryside and stuff. The problem I have with England, and to be honest, part of the reason why I'm here, there is just no money and jobs, really.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am loaded.
True, you are thriving economically. That is why we're doing this. This past, if this is all we did, we are below the poverty line according to the World Food Organization or whatever. We're not getting our $2 a day out of this to buy our rice and beans or whatever. We're actually negative. I've never run my own business that's been profitable for more than 3 months.
But I do think that what we should start doing is just claiming sponsorship. So just having like cans of Coke everywhere, for example, and then
Because these are good. Zin.
okay,
Like,
so
I
we're
did
now
not
sponsored by Zin, and Zin will
Sponsored
eventually
by
come to
Zin.
us and be like, "We're not paying you to sponsor us," and we'll be like, "It's too late. Here's an invoice."
Yeah. And actually, just to be totally clear, in case we end up in that murky water, because I am now in a country where you will get sued for literally everything.
I'm
Like, it turns yeah, you're not. You're safe. Not actually sponsored by Zin, but tried these things as kind of a joke. And initially, you feel like you're going to be sick. And then you're like, wow, I can really concentrate with these. But I think, novelty, try a couple, leave that for
what
that,
is it?
to be honest. Yeah, it's like these Swedish snus things, but
Oh.
they've become like a culture. Like, it's quite interesting how every single white male between the age of about 8 and 60 loves them. They're actually sold out basically everywhere.
Eight.
Yeah, I've had hardly any of these. Like, I don't even really like them, to be honest.
But all the 8-year-olds are chaining them.
Yeah, vapes aren't cool anymore. Get the Zin out.
No.
But I did the other week, and actually that's why I wanted to talk about it. Get to go to New Mexico, and I will tell you, my heart is in the desert. My heart is in the desert. I love it.
Always
there.
going to be chasing your tail, Sam, honestly.
I know that is the problem. That is the problem. I've been dreaming of Israel as well since, but people get judge you a bit when you say that nowadays. I'm like, fuck off. The food was good. The weather was good.
Anyway. I think this is just why people call them holidays, because once you leave, you're like, oh, that was lovely. I'd like to go back. But the reason you don't go back is because eventually it's boring.
Yeah,
We're at
seriously.
now.
Seriously. Yeah. So now I've got 11 months on this lease, and I'm thinking, seems about 10 months too long.
Right, let's get stuck into it. So, New Mexico. Why would we pick this state?
Well, because I visited recently and I thought it was entertaining.
Okay, cool. Could you give us an elevator pitch about your time in New Mexico?
Yeah. So specifically, I was mainly in Albuquerque, which is best known for where Breaking Bad was set and filmed.
Did not know that.
Which the landscape does look like that. Like it's pretty cool. Like it's classic desert. But when you get there, it's just feels a little bit dangerous, Albuquerque. Not like super dangerous, but just a little bit spicy, which I personally find it's good because you go outside and you're a bit like, ooh, do you know what I mean? Ooh, is it safe just on this bit? And it is, to be honest, mainly. But if you drive out a bit, they've got this mountain that has the world's longest stretch of unsupported cable car.
Already got. Oh, we got 2 people actually.
Yeah, there was 2 on this one too. Great.
Alrighty, guys, feel free to give it.
I did not know that this existed near Albuquerque. They have skiing just outside of Albuquerque. This place has everything, and it's just like all the buildings, clay, the food, good. Trucks, big. Weather, good. And everyone is a character, like to a weird extent. I had this Uber driver who we were driving back from dinner, and she was like, oh, all these cars keep swaying into me. I was like, that is definitely you. We've just strayed across multiple lanes. Like, she was off her head. She was actually cracked up. But she did show us Albuquerque's quite famous for haunted stuff.
Okay.
Well, you must know about that because you've got Alton Towers nearby, so I imagine you're going spooktacular.
I don't live there anymore.
Oh, fuck.
I know. And I haven't actually for years either. I think the entire time we've done this podcast, I've not lived in Derby.
Oh, well, I'm glad we keep up.
Sam actually did come to visit me when we were skiing, and we should have got an episode then. So sorry, everybody. I don't know what really came over us apart from having too much fun.
We had other things to do.
Like smother sun cream all over your face.
Yeah, it was actually a good trip, that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably better than Albuquerque in many ways. The Alps.
ABQ. That's what all the kids are calling Albuquerque.
I cannot spell it. I cannot spell it, and I cannot even get close enough that Predictive can help me out. So they've got this thing. They've got this mountain with the long supported cable car.
Mm-hmm.
The rocks are crazy looking. Like, they're all very circular and look like they're kind of stuck all over the hill. Kind of like measles. But yeah, just a lot of unsurprising things like that. And went to this food area, you know, like kind of a Mercato type shit that they have in London. It's like that, but a bit less wanky.
This is quite sick. Check this out.
Because you can go there, you can get your different foods and whatever. But this is the good thing, and where I think I'd probably struggle a bit more with London now, because you're not all on top of each other. Like, you can sit outside, it's warm, it's nice, you can get your nice food, like all of that,
Yeah.
and you don't feel like you're going to get shot.
Are you still talking about Albuquerque? But you feel like you're going to get shot if you do that in London. Plus, you have to book 3 months in advance if you want a spontaneous night out.
Yeah, it's oh my god. Speaking of which, have you seen this has become a thing, like reselling restaurant bookings?
No.
I fucking hate. Oh, I hate this so much.
Oh, but I
The
was
worst
so
thing is
here for it 2 years ago.
oh, I'm almost like, if you can't beat them, join them. Some of the bookings are selling for like $400.
Oh my God.
So you book up a restaurant and then you just resell your table on this platform. And some of them are like predictively reselling. So everything just getting booked straight away. And now you have to go and buy your table off an 18-year-old for $300.
This is when it makes me sad that people have too much money. This laptop that we're doing this podcast from is without a doubt the biggest asset currently in my name. And if I died, my parents would be inheriting a laptop that so far they've paid 90% towards. So that figure is getting smaller as I pay them back £40 a month for the next 3 years.
It's good. But it is true, though. I think, and to be honest, we wouldn't even be doing this, because I mean, this episode is somewhat about New Mexico. Look,
Yeah.
basically, the crack with New Mexico is like kind of weirdly dangerous, but really pretty. The food's banging. You should go. However, now we've gone down this path, I think there is some value in this, because it's like, yeah, sometimes it's kind of fucking weird, but honestly, I probably wouldn't change it for the world. No one's interested, and I seem like too ADHD to be able to literally stick in just one place for a bit. Because you know that theory, the grass is always greener on the other side?
Yeah.
That's actually not a problem if you're constantly moving between lawns, because then I'm always heading to the greener grass.
Yeah. Yeah, you just keep following that sprinkler, babe. I mean, I was telling my ex-boyfriend the grass was not greener, but I think it was. I think he's quite happy.
I can't tell you. Yeah, I had a similar conversation. It didn't work out well for either of us, to be honest. But what I will tell you is that, yeah, that's actually true. With some things you cannot do, the grass is always greener. Like, I think we would both say this as people who have been dumped in a fairly disruptive way. I would say, like, I don't think that's unfair. I think we'd say, yeah, the grass is always greener, but probably be a bit more careful if you're doing it with people. However, if you're doing it with stuff, sure, that is all.
So I Googled, why is New Mexico? And then I wanted to see what the list became on Google as like predictive text. So why is New Mexico called New Mexico? Why is New Mexico so poor? Why is New Mexico so dangerous, so famous, democratic, not in Mexico, and called the land of enchantment?
Fuck. I do also want to touch on that haunted hospital hotel.
Okay, why don't you talk about that first then?
So this is what the crazy Uber driver lady was saying. A lot of people go to New Mexico because they like haunted stuff.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, see that hotel up there? And I was like, yeah. It kind of like had some like lanterns and stuff outside, but not obviously a haunted hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, it used to be a children's asylum, and they converted it into a hotel that they now think's haunted, and a lot of people go in there haunted. And my main question was, okay, however, that's not obviously marketed like that. Could I have just ended up there through booking.com on a work trip? She's like, oh yeah, that happens all the time. And I'm like, oh, that would be fucking annoying. Imagine you're looking for the equivalent of like a Premier Inn or a Courtyard by Marriott. They're booked, so you end up in this hotel, and then you're surrounded by ghost hunters and everyone telling you that like, this is where the mentally disabled child was strapped to a bed. You'd be like, I'm a construction worker working on a bridge, and I'm strapped to the bedroom.
It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's well reviewed.
Do you believe in ghosts, Sam?
What is a ghost defined as?
Off the top of my head, thing that exists post-death, whether it be a spirited feeling or like a physical being.
Yeah, it feels like crazier things have happened. I don't know that I've seen any, and if you were going to bet on whether I'm going to see one within the next year, I'd be like, no. But given that I don't know that much about ghosts, I don't want to be arrogant and say, oh, definitely not a thing. Because, I mean, like,
Yeah.
feels like it could be a thing. What do you think?
No, I know what you mean in that I think I'd feel like a bit of a prick if my whole life I've been like, no, and then you die, and then it turns out everything's actually true, and then you're like, oh.
It's why I actually rotate religions, because I want to give myself the best shot with everyone when it comes to past.
I mean, I would absolutely love the idea of reincarnation. If I can somehow manifest that. What's that one? Buddhism? Hinduism?
I actually don't want to be reincarnated, to be quite honest, and I'll tell you why. I think we're in the luckiest 0.0001% of humans who have ever been alive, and I still don't like it that much.
Yeah, but as an animal, I think that's what I'm talking about. When you go back to because we're top of the food chain now, I go back to the bottom of the food chain through reincarnation. I'm an ant, and then I'm an ant for a few days, and then I don't know.
Have you seen the ants walk themselves off to the pit before they die, to the mass grave? Like, they know when they're going to die, and they just walk themselves.
That's what cats do, or our cat did anyway. It made it so grave, dug its own grave and lay in it.
Oh, dark, isn't it?
No, but just going back on the ghost thing. So no, if you asked me, my instinctive response would be, no, I don't believe in ghosts. But let's just say I'd be really surprised if I saw one. I think my response would be surprised. I'd be like, oh, that's shocking, really.
The closest I've come to seeing ghosts was when I was taking those anti-malarial pills that they give you if you have chlamydia, doxycycline.
What?
And yeah,
we've covered malaria, ghosts, and chlamydia in the same sentence.
Yeah, it's a multi-purpose drug.
I did not know. The doctors, they're like, right, so you've got chlamydia. I'm going to give you some anti-malaria medication, and you might hallucinate.
Yeah, it was actually just that I think I self-identified the names as being the same thing. Like, I didn't get chlamydia, but I lived with someone who had it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Good.
That's that, is it? And I was like, oh, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, where are you going? They're like, oh, I have chlamydia. I was like, nowhere.
Oh my God, so you saw the malaria medication. So you were like,
yeah,
off on holiday, are you? And they were like, well, not quite. I've actually got an STI, and you're going to have to take it too. Fab. Love that.
Yeah. I was plugging something in, got quite a big electric shock from the mains, was taking these anti-malarials, and I don't know if they were correlated, but I was having imagine a nightmare, but where you vividly wake up and you can still just see what looks like ghosts of dogs just barking in your face. I was close to throwing myself out of a window, to be honest. I absolutely hated that.
Oh my God, guys, wear condoms. It's not worth it.
Not if you have to take those, honestly.
Okay, New Mexico. Obviously haunted.
Can you tell me why it is so poor? Because it didn't feel that poor, but everyone says that it's poor.
Right. The only threads that I seem to come across are all on Reddit. So I would take this with a pinch of salt.
That is a legitimate information source.
Basically, a lot of people in New Mexico are trapped in generational poverty. The economy is heavily boom bust, and the wealth from the booms tend to be mostly diverted out of state. There's a lot of service workers. I mean, I would have hazarded a guess that it kind of came down more to the population makeup. I think this ties in with why it's called New Mexico.
We do need to talk about today as well is the presidential election debate that was on last night.
Yeah, let's definitely get onto that.
Did you see it?
No, but I heard it being spoken about.
We had to watch Donald J. Trump effectively. Well, he didn't even do it. The guy did it to himself. I don't think either of them are necessarily, the world's greatest options, whatever. One of it just summed it up where it is Joe Biden said something, he starts one sentence and then he just finishes a totally different sentence. And we'll be in between. We'll get up this clip.
Everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President.
It sounds like you remember the Boris Johnson interview where he entered a whole nother universe for 5 seconds straight.
Fairly large. But multitasking. But that's kind of a lot.
I know, but we were.
And he just He was having a Control-Alt-Delete moment. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly. And Donald was just like, I actually don't know what he said, and I don't think he knows either. And it was like,
Donald was like, I have literally just been found guilty, and I've still got your pants down right now.
Donald can just not say, like, literally, the more that you just let the old guy speak, the worse that it gets, because it's just like, oh no. Like, I'm not being funny. I wouldn't trust if Joe Biden was like, "I'll lock up your front door." Like, say you were like, "Hey Joe, here's the keys. Can you lock the front door?" You'd be like, "I'm gonna have to go back and check that door." Not certain that's going to be locked. To be honest,
which is terrible.
Not saying that the other ones, the great candidate. Not speaking about that. I'm just speaking about the fact that if I get to that stage, I'm taking myself to Switzerland and putting myself in a suicide pod because I think I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, I'd assist you there. I mean, I heard on the news today there was this one woman. I think she is part of the Democrat Party, but don't quote me on that. And she was basically like, yeah, it's 4 months until the election and I think we need a new candidate. It was brilliant. Yeah, also, whilst we're on the topic of politics, how funny is the whole, and I don't know whether I kind of respect this because I think I would also do it if I was a politician, but the whole betting on when the date's going to be, I'd honestly just find it so hilarious. Have you not heard about this?
No.
So loads of Conservative MPs and indirectly a Labour MP have been removed from the party because they put a bet on when the election was going to be, obviously knowing when the election was going to be.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
No, but it wasn't just one person, it was 7.
What?
Yeah. And then they all obviously got away with it. And then one person came out and it was this whole hoo-ha. And then a further 7 came out the woodwork.
That is ridiculous. I bet you they've done it with small amounts of money as well, like not even worth.
Yeah, they just put a £5 on it.
Grow up, everyone. That will be classic Labour Party in the UK. They'll do like
no, it was the Conservatives.
Oh, well, they'll be even worse. They will still do it with it'll be like 20 grand. You know what? You're just going to build another duck pond. I'm actually controversially not registered to vote in the UK for this election. I was like, I can't be fucked. I was like, I know it sounds bad, but you're all so shit. I'm not doing it. Which I know then means that you're technically accountable for someone, but I'm not doing it. Like, they're all just like, I'm not condoning either of you. You're all idiots. Like, one of you's basically the Communist Party, which I want nothing to do with, and the other ones have just done a pretty bad job recently. Yeah, they both are shit. They both are.
Also, it's not that controversial. No one's registered to vote out of the young people.
Okay, but yeah, that's some crazy shit. So why is New Mexico so poor? Because that. Why is it so dangerous?
We didn't really cover the whole poor bit. So New Mexico was originally a remote Spanish settlement. It was first colonized back in the 1500s. And then it was called New Mexico because all of the colonists essentially came from Old Mexico. And it was full of Spanish people. Now, obviously, there's still lots of Hispanics and people who have come from Mexico as well because it's on the border. So I think they will be subject to more discrimination and stuff like that and probably find it more difficult to get jobs. They're also afraid of probably institutions if they are illegal as well. So they're probably not going to get a job. So things like that, which make it poor.
Yeah, weirdly, I have to say, I did not see that much Spanish speaking stuff. It did not feel as Mexican as I expected it to feel.
Yeah, I think that is reducing. So in 2000, it was close to a third of the population in New Mexico spoke Spanish. And now it's down to 25%. And that's speaking Spanish as well. You'd think that, I don't know, half of the population might speak a bit of Spanish, but crazy.
Yeah, they might have had enough. They might have had enough of the illegals and put them all on a bus up to Chicago. To be fair, because they do that is a thing. No, seriously, that is actually.
But I think it is surprisingly. So one of the questions: why is New Mexico democratic? It is surprisingly democratic considering it borders Texas, Utah, Arizona. Bible Belt states and notoriously quite red.
I don't know what Arizona is.
You don't think Arizona is? No.
No, I think it's purple, very purple.
What the hell does that mean? Bit of both? Swing.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I think you and I would like it, and it's economically conservative, socially liberal. By the way, they are building so many silicon chip production things down there. It's actually what makes me think the US is kind of where it's at. Tens of billions of dollars on this shit. And I'm not being funny. Then you see the UK government being like, we're going to put $20 million into clean energy. You're like, 20 million? Like, what are we going to fucking do, boys? We're going to build a big house.
Yeah.
Like, not going to go that far. Do you know what I mean? Whereas they've literally, I think it was about $60 billion worth of investment in silicon chips in Arizona. It's actually wild.
Yeah. So this is interesting, something I wanted to know from you. Apparently, when you walk into restaurants there and you order, I don't know, like an enchilada or a burrito or something, the server will say to you every single time, would you like it red, green, or Christmas?
Okay. So that did happen. That did happen. One thing I would tell you, so they love these chilies. They have them on their license plates on the back of their cars. Like, Google New Mexico license plates, they're fucking cool. They're like these black license plates with these red and green chilies on the end of them. Fucking cool. And they will ask you if you want that. And they love this green sauce. And I love chilies. I quite like spicy food. I quite like the salsa and all of that. So I was like, brilliant. I'm not being funny. It basically tasted of nothing. It was like highly underwhelming. And we'd had the whole server just gassing it up like, oh, so which do you prefer? And the problem was they just chuck it on this taco salad, they called it, which is basically doesn't resemble a taco or a salad in any way. It's kind of, it is a war crime on a plate, to be honest. Going to war over that piece of land, they'd be like, we shouldn't go anywhere near here. This is barbaric. This is barbaric.
But yeah, that's quite true of just American Tex-Mex food in general, isn't it? Like, isn't that just a war crime? Like, apparently, like burrito isn't even a thing. I have to show you. You know, when I always read those parts in the Week magazine, which like must be true, I read it in the tabloids. It was a New Mexican bus driver who crashed because he took two hands off the wheel trying to eat a burrito.
Yep, that's a burrito, a big old burrito washed down with a soda. So let's go back and look at the tape again. Here's the driver moments before the crash, taking his eyes off the road and looking down in the direction of that burrito. One of the people involved in the wreck claims they were hurt.
And the whole headline is bus driver blames it on burrito.
People think burritos easy to eat with one hand. It's not. It's gonna. Have you seen those Chipotle burritos? They look like they're gonna fucking give birth. Like, that is a difficult job. Those people in Chipotle folding those burritos, it's like a genuine struggle to get it over. Like, they're bursting at the seams. I'm like, you didn't have to. This looks kind of painful. When they're like, what do you want in it? And you just say everything. It's just because I can't be bothered.
There is such art to it though. Like, think of English people trying to wrap a fajita that's literally like this thin.
Oh,
American
this is British people with Mexican food. I have to say it is shit. Like, the lack of Mexican restaurants in England as a whole. What did we have? We had that one shitty chain.
Taco Bell.
It wasn't. Yeah, and even then we've only got like 3 of them. I don't think we can call that Mexican.
But to be honest, that's what I mean. Is like, yeah, you're saying Americans have a load of Mexican chains, but it's not Mexican food, it's Tex-Mex.
Yeah, true. A lot of it is Tex-Mex.
So it's all Tex-Mex.
So I live opposite a little shop that's like a bodega type thing. It's run by Mexicans. I think they only really speak Spanish. And they have a taco shop at the back of this store. Like, you go past some like cans of Coke where it says, you know, do not sell separately. They're the multi-pack cans, like, all stacked up. And they just have these tacos at the back, which I do think is quite a nice feature. Like, I'll go get some of them if I'm a little bit peckish. That is legit Mexican food, but it's just not that good. But then it's hard to compare because it's also sold from the back of a corner shop.
Yeah.
So
one thing English people do well though is tapas, in the sense of, because we don't really have a cuisine, you'll go to a restaurant which will do tacos as part of a dish.
Yeah.
Tacos on their own seem to be a big cuisine in this country. I don't know why.
Yeah, that is good that they've become more of a thing. I think it's because you can charge an obscene amount for basically fuck all.
Oh no, that's why I never get them.
Yeah, it is. The ones at home, it's not really like that here, to be fair. Here they like overstuff them, like it's actually uncomfortable to eat. But at home, I do agree where you'd be like, I think you forgot to put the chicken on it. I've just got the little flour thing.
So fair play that this bus driver crashed. I feel like he definitely would have got off a sentence for that. It's a legit.
He should have got the burrito bowl. fork.
He did also have a huge shake in the other hand. He wasn't making it easy for himself.
He just has no hands. No hands available. This is what I don't get, to be honest. When people are like, "Oh, I'm scared of autonomous vehicles," you're like, and you're not scared of Barry, the truck driver, who's literally reaching down for his ciggies, like not looking at the road, going like this. Like
That's the thing. They're always fine, aren't they? There's not really any situation in which the truck driver will die. It's the little Fiat.
Yeah, it's the fucking family of four cruising along in front in their fucking Vauxhall Astra who are fucked. Like, the truck driver's fine, obviously.
We're going to talk about the fact that I look like a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, it does make you look a lot younger.
I went and got a bottle of Pimm's. It was one of the first times I haven't been ID'd. So I thought, right, fuck it. I went into the hairdressers and asked for a chop that gave me 10 years back.
Which is a haircut nowadays.
Oh my God. It usually costs me 30 quid. I rung up yesterday and said, I need a last minute haircut. And they're like, okay, cool, we've got you in. Didn't ask the price, really risky. As I was leaving, mum, bless her, gives her 28-year-old daughter 20 quid towards the blow dry. Because I was like, I'm just going to leave with wet hair so it's cheaper. Mum thought, I can't be having my daughter walking around Ross and Wye with wet hair. So she gives me 20 quid towards the blow dry. It ends up being 58 quid. And I was going to give mum change from the 20 quid. So I ended up having to be like, right, I'll put this. This can be cash and this is card. Didn't say anything. And of course, they've given me a feedback form to fill out. And I've given them 1 star and been like, outrageously priced. 58 quid to make me look like a bloke. But the thing with bobs, and anyone out there Bob will agree, they look amazing a week after, but they look horrible for the first week. It's a proper bowl cut.
I think I quite like it. It does make you look younger, though.
Thanks, Sam. They've always got you to support me.
You look old anyway, to be honest, in the sense that I thought it looked appropriate. Like, I'm not trying to make myself look more youthful at this stage.
It all boils down to the fact that we don't have kids, I reckon, or drink a lot.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the people who are drinking loads, they do look now grey or yellow.
Or just still really skinny everywhere, but around the middle.
Saying that, I do need to get back on the gym more. It's really
No, that's when you just notice that everyone's suddenly taking up lycra cycling. You're like, oh, I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I just want to get massive arms.
Yeah. So we've spoken loads about New Mexico, as we always do on our states.
Too much.
Just some fun facts. Don't know whether you do or do not know these. The nuclear bomb was detonated here for the first time and built here.
What?
Yeah. Does that really surprise you?
What?
It's full of nothing but land.
That is crazy.
Which bit?
That they detonated a nuke. Oh my god.
The first one.
There's people holding up signs being like, I got cancer.
Sorry.
No, we can laugh at that because I mean it's like kind of dark that none of us knew this. This is crazy. I mean, what we should say is we don't know how credible those people are. I think they're chasing a few quid.
I mean, cancer. You can't be blaming every atomic bomb that's ever gone off for it. You know, how about the 50 cigarettes they smoked that day? How about that?
Yeah, and to be honest, you did not have to live on a nuclear site.
Well, maybe they did.
No. Well, look, it's either giving people cancer or people seriously need to reevaluate this as a tourist destination. Because if it is giving people cancer, we need to stop these days out. Like, look at that. That is a monument saying the first nuclear bomb was detonated here and everyone milling around it. So either it's giving people cancer or it's not. And, like, we should act accordingly.
Yeah. 75% of New Mexico's roads are unpaved. Doesn't really surprise me. Santa Fe is the highest capital city in the world. Higher even than Rio.
Is Rio not at sea level?
Oh, I don't know. I've only ever just seen that statue of and just assumed that was high.
No, it's on a beach.
Cool. Well, I'm really good at geography. And New Mexico has the largest hot air balloon festival each year in the world. Beautiful.
That is crazy.
Isn't it just? So, do you have anything else to add, Sam, or should we wrap it up for our, I think it's 11th state of our series?
No, I'd just like to apologise for the hiatus. I don't actually know how you
Hyena.
say that. Yeah, but it's good to be back. I've enjoyed it, and we're going to edit these less. I don't think people like editing so much, We're going to go more freestyle.
Fine.
Until inevitably we're cancelled.
We've got no time anyway.
Yeah. Cancel me from what?
Yeah.
Like,
do you know what? This is why we had a hiatus, because I was trying to get a real job, and when I realised I couldn't, I was like, right, I'm going to go back to these. I can say what I want again now.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing. Not a penny.
That is good. Well, it's been a pleasure, everyone.
It's been great.
The world's gotten to for people like me. People